Say hello, everyone and no one, and welcome to another Rotten Movie Reviews. Today, we were originally going to be doing Con Air, but we decided to go with a Christmas movie instead, and we decided on Gremlins. Now, if James would have been here, we could have done Die Hard and had the argument of how he's just wrong. And that. And if anyone wants to say Gremlins isn't a Christmas movie, they're an idiot. But you're still muted there, Will. So, but with me as always is T. Alexander, which is now unmuted. T, how you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend. And I would like to say Batman Forever is a Christmas movie, and anyone that says it isn't is a fucking retard.
Batman Forever is not a Christmas movie. Batman Returns is a Christmas movie, you tard.
I guess I am retarded.
We have with us Angela Araga. Angela, how you doing?
Hey, I am great. I love this movie. It is a blast from my childhood.
And filling in for James this week is we going with Will-it or James-it-Forge?
I'll answer to either.
We got Will-it-Forge with us in here. So, if for some odd reason you have not seen the 1984 Christmas classic of Gremlins,
Go see it.
seriously, go see it. Like,
Now,
I think it was Steven Spielberg presents and everything. I think it's hard to go into the whole thing of just like how have you not seen it? I will say I find it pretty funny the fact that Gizmo was originally supposed to be the villain.
Really? And then they turned it around?
Yes, because of something or other, they decided to not make Gizmo the villain himself, and to make pretty much the whole thing of like the multiplying and that Gizmo's the good one. Apparently, there's also I have to really look it up because I know Roanoke Gaming did a whole thing on like wanted to do a plausibility of how Gremlins evolved and whatnot, and apparently there's actually entire lore of how these things were basically created. I can't remember where the heck that's at. So he had to like, so we're gonna go with Gremlins. Which, by the way, if you haven't checked out Roanoke Gaming, he's actually pretty cool from what I've seen. I like his stuff. His science behind movies or video games. But yeah, again, like this movie's 39 years old. It's 2 years older than me in tier.
yeah.
And again, it's just like I don't know how you couldn't see it. And I will definitely say I did not realize Corey Feldman is as old as he is. He plays a minor role, but obviously Gremlins is that the main character Billy gets a new pet that they call Gizmo. Three rules of the Mogwai, which is what the species he is to not get them into direct sunlight because it'll kill them, not get them wet, and not to feed them after midnight. Obviously, lo and behold, what happens? Gizmo gets wet, other Mogwai show up, they get fed after midnight. That's what ends up turning them into gremlins. Chaos ensues in this horror comedy. And fucking Mrs. Deets deserved her death.
Deagle. Mrs. Deagle.
Deagle? I thought it was Deets.
Well,
Nope.
the bitch
Mrs.
deserves to
Deagle.
die.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
she definitely did.
She
is
deserved what
literally-
she got.
Granted,
She is literally the first character where I ever just wanted them to die. I was really little when this came out. And you had this little kid sitting here going, I hope she dies.
Granted, I will say this for the actress that played Miss Deagle, she did a great job with her, especially with her overacting of the "Oh my heart, I've got a weak heart." You lying bitch.
No, she masterfully played the role. It was amazing.
Yes, she's one of the ones that just like the guy who played Walter Peck from Ghostbusters. That he still, last I knew, to like this, or it's like for years had it that people had been like, Walter Peck, you're a dick, you're a dickless dude, and whatnot. And he's like, that was that character I played, and he just didn't know how to go with it. And it's just like, dude, you nailed a role so fucking well that people years later still can see you in that role.
It's true.
That's like I think it was the chick who played one of the queens or whatnot, or the thing from Game of Thrones. Like when people would come, yeah, I think it was Daenerys or whatnot, or the one, I think it was the one that was banging her brother.
That would be Cersei Lannister.
Yeah, I don't know because I got halfway through the first book and stopped caring because the plot was not there, since of the constant character changes and not following any form of we're gonna stay with this for a while. But
welcome to George R.R. Martin.
But apparently she had the whole thing of like several times people had told her that they hated her and whatnot, and she quite literally would just be like, "Thank you," and they're like, "What?" She's like, "That means I played the role right."
Yeah,
it was the same thing with the one kid who,
the poor kid that played Joffrey, that was like, they hate me, I hate me.
Yeah,
that actress had resting bitch face. Like, God, she just looked unhappy and complicated.
You just don't understand, Tyr. It's not resting bitch face, because her bitch face is ever vigilant.
Well, she had resting asshole face, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
that took vigilance too.
But going back to Gremlins, you have a young Corey Feldman in a small role. Zach Galligan is the main character. Billy, Phoebe Cates, or is that supposed to be Phoebe?
Phoebe. It's Phoebe Cates.
So those are the main characters, and oh god, it's just such a fun movie.
It is.
Yeah, and it stands up well.
Oh yeah, even the animatronic / like bit of stop motion.
Yeah, they put out something that holds on a long time. I mean, there's more modern stuff with modern effects and CGI that doesn't stand as well.
Oh yeah, because that's in this thing. It was probably a lower budget movie and everything, and depending on who's directing. I mean, you had the writer was Chris Columbus. He must got made fun of for that, and the director of Joe Dante. That they put on their shit right. They got the right people for it, and just they went through it. Now there are definitely some parts to where it's like you have to have a major suspension of disbelief.
Of course.
One of the main ones being that there should have actually been exponentially more gremlins. That or
considering the swimming pool, yeah.
Well, no, not just considering the swimming pool. Before the said swimming pool,
splashed with water and only got 5.
No, the fact that they would go out into the snow. They would be warm-blooded enough that it should melt and cause them to reproduce even more. That, or it should have frozen.
Yeah, because either they're warm-blooded enough to melt the snow, or the snow freezes them. I got you.
Big ass plot hole, including how when it's raining, like these. I'm pretty sure Gizmo isn't the only one. Like,
it's highly unlikely in that whole thing, and quite literally, this is one of the few ones to where they could go through a prequel, but anything like this would have to be animated, in my opinion.
It would be, but our planet gets rainfall on a near constant basis. There are very few places on our planet that doesn't get constant rainfall. These things should overrun the planet.
Yes, but typically what happens, you also have to remember, because of the sunlight, that wipes them out as well.
But it rains at night. Like,
yes.
Right now where I'm sitting, it's raining.
Yes, but with what's going on in the movie and that whole thing, from what we're aware of, at least for the most part, are in the States, that Gizmo is at least the only Mogwai in that area. And he's indoors. So yes, the whole thing of being like getting into that, yes, like with the whole moisture in the air and everything. Again, it's plot holes, probably going more into supernatural, considering the fact, as far as I'm aware, there's no actual, mammal type creature that will cocoon into more of a reptilian sort of creature. So we definitely have the supernatural element in there as well.
Okay.
I will tell you though, the thing that still requires significant suspension of belief beyond that, though, is that third rule: not feeding them after midnight. Is that just always local time? Does as soon as they cross a time zone, they automatically shift an hour?
Reset?
I mean,
yeah. Yeah, that's always been a thing of contention of like how are you supposed to know when it's after midnight?
It's like, is that
and technically 11 p.m. is after midnight too. It's just,
Shit, 11 a.m.
23 hours after midnight.
Yeah.
Shit. 6 o'clock in the morning is technically after midnight. The vagueness of the rule.
Well, again, this is a 1984 movie. I haven't gone into looking into the actual
I get it.
Whatcha-jigger for it. I know there was supposed to be a Gremlins 2 or Gremlins 3 movie that just never really got into there. I still love how into the campiness Gremlins 2 got.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it's that whole thing. If you've never seen the Gremlins movie, seriously, go out and see it. You can probably pick it up for like $4. Hell, if anything, it's probably on Amazon for like $7 or $8 max, and it probably has both fucking movies.
Gremlins 2 had probably one of my favorite kills in it. Gizmo fashioned a bow and arrow out of a paper clip and a fucking rubber band.
Yeah, well, the thing that I bring up of like why I liked with the campiness of what happened with 2 is they leaned into the whole thing of like having the video in there, so you had Hulk Hogan and that whole thing. You also, apparently, because of how this was, with how the artwork and whatnot was for the promoted it, there were parents that quite literally thought this was a children's movie, and there were several cases apparently to where women or mothers came out of the theater with their child basically bitching at the people working there.
Okay, looking at it,
which is why they had the freaking woman come out of there and being like, "How dare you show this to children?"
Well, they make. There's a reason that PG-13 exists.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, hold on. PG-13 and shit like that has changed far beyond what it used to be as well.
Yes.
It used to be stricter.
No.
In some cases, you used to have more cussing in that.
No, it way lags with PG-13. Wizards is PG-13.
What?
Wizards is PG-13.
Wizards. I don't.
With Avatar and Death Wolf and
I've most likely seen it, but I don't remember it.
It was one of Ralph Bakshi's work.
But if you want a kick in the head about something that was PG-13, try The Never-Ending Story.
Wizards.
Oh, and if you were unaware as well, Howie Mandel is the voice of Gizmo.
I did not remember that.
Yep.
Oh, and for your watchability thing, it is $4 to rent on Amazon, $10 to buy for Gremlins, just under $4 to rent Gremlins 2, and $13 to buy. And they now have a series, Gremlins: Secrets of the Mogwai, which is a 2023 animated.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Set in the 1920s. It's basically $3 for an episode or $20 for a season in high def.
Angela, look in.
I'm looking at Wizards, a cartoon by Ralph Bakshi.
Yep.
This says it's PG.
PG. Yes, parental guidance.
Gremlins 2 is PG-13. Apparently, the original Gremlins is TV-14.
Yeah.
So So PG.
I have PG, actually.
Yeah, there's also the thing where it's just PG.
Yeah, and PG did it's like, be careful.
Well, I mean, it's the whole thing of like look back when like Sausage Party came out because it was animated. There's always parents that are like, "Oh, it's animated. That must means it's a kids movie." It's like, "No, it's not, you dumb fuck."
And fucking Fritz. So the story I was going to tell was a coworker of mine went to Best Buy one day, and she was looking at the cartoon because she wanted to get something for her granddaughter. And she had been skimming, and she saw Fritz the cat, and she immediately pulled it out of the kids section and went over to the guy doing it. Like, this does not belong anywhere near the kids section. Like Fritz.
Fritz, try Popeye, which originally when it was released was porn.
You know what coonskin is?
No.
Oh God, Jesus Christ, Angela, I have to learn you, man. We gonna have to watch. Let me rephrase that one. You gonna have to watch Coonskin.
Never heard of it.
I'll take a picture, show y'all. I think this one was another bag sheet. God.
Now I'm worried.
Lord.
Yep, so
it was a bag sheet.
So for all of the Mogwai and the Gremlins, you had Howie Mandel as Gizmo, Frank Welker as Stripe, and then the rest of the Gremlins, which are just different ones, as well as also apparently a couple other people. You had Fred Newman, Mark Dodson, Michael Winslow, nice, Peter Cullen, Bob Bergen, Michael Sheehan, and Bob Holt. Frank Welker sounds really.
Frank Welker did a lot of voices.
Yes, he did. Believe he's done a Shaggy. I think he was also yeah, it looks like he was Toka in the second Ninja Turtles movie.
Man, I actually did a lot of fucking shit.
See, Michael Winslow's the one that I know. He was the cop that did all of the noises in
Police Academy. He
Police
also was the
Academy.
radar tech in Spaceballs.
Yep.
Yes.
No, Frank Welker, he doesn't do as much. It's like he's done more voice acting than regular things. Because apparently, in like the Guardians of the Galaxy TV series, he's the fucking voice of Odin. And apparently, he has done a bunch of Scooby-Doo ones to where he does Scooby-Doo in Fred Jones. But he has done
Very cool.
a metric fuck ton of voice acting. Holy Jesus. But that is typically how a lot of voice actors go. But going back to, I mean, there's really not much bad to say about this movie other than like a couple of plot holes for how it is for that. Otherwise, it's just a great, fun movie.
Absolutely.
I'm kind of worried about the Secrets of the Mogwai thing because it looks like it's supposed to be meant for more children. With the way the artwork is, I'm not necessarily sure.
It's the first episode, don't get them wet, and second episode, don't feed them after midnight. They've got like a plot description there too. Like, they're gonna take and destroy something from my childhood, ain't they?
They always do.
Because I freaking hate it when they do that.
Well, they think that kids can't handle it.
And Gremlins actually does rape my childhood, so.
And they don't they don't remember, like, how fun it was to watch it when they were a kid. They just remember the part that scared them.
Well,
You know?
in that whole thing, I just think it's because people look back and I think it's like a lot of things. They tend to look at like Gremlins 2 to where it's campier, it's funner, and it doesn't have like the violence is more ridiculous than it is terrifying.
Yeah.
And they aim it towards a group that it shouldn't be aimed towards. Because like Gremlins should be aimed towards like a bit old, like more the later teens
Like
and
older
whatnot.
kids.
Because like you can still do movies that are movies and TV shows that have deeper meaning and everything, and not necessarily deeper meaning, but the different things. Like prime examples, look at how Avatar: The Last Airbender was. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend. If you've got Netflix, I want to say it's on there, and you can watch all 3 seasons. Legend of Korra is
tolerable, but ass.
Well, the problem with
tolerable, but ass.
I'll put it this way. Because in the first Avatar TV show, at one point, I think it's in book 1 still, which is the first season, or in book 2, they make fun of specific animations styles to where they'll make them really beautiful, but they don't have an actual lot of animation. So so a lot of stuff is like implied. Kind of like when I bring up the Devil May Cry anime. Looks beautiful. Storyline's actually pretty cool. It is not a good adaptation of Devil May Cry. Because
it's not bad, but it's just
that's why I said it. It's like
right story.
It looks good because like the artwork is really fucking good. The problem is all of the actual action is too implied to be happening off screen.
Your only contention with it is that it had the devil. If it wasn't called Devil May Cry, you would enjoy it far more.
Yes.
Get it.
And that's one of the things that that had a problem with Legend of Korra was the fact they kept wanting to. They had really good artwork in the beginning, and they kept trying to bring back a lot of stuff of like, remember this from Last Airbender, remember this from Last Airbender, and they couldn't stick with a plot line long enough. Like for the original Avatar: The Last Airbender, you knew what the series final or finale was going to be: Aang fighting the Fire Lord. That was all of the buildup, and all the characters got enough screen time that all of their stuff it's like all the main characters had enough screen time that all what they did mattered.
This is what they should have done with Legend of Korra. They should have set it far in the future. They should have set it like a cycle, like it's someone that's already become after Aang a waterbender, and she's the next person to inherit as a waterbender. That way, you could reference Star Wars.
Well, it's the same issue with what happened in Star Wars. For so much of this stuff, you can't continue directly after. You need to have a much bigger gap.
Yes.
Because you either fall into something where you have to keep referencing the original story, or you pull a freaking Dragon Ball Z to where Gohan's supposed to take over, but because the fans in Japan were bitching before it ever got to the US about it, they brought Goku back.
Yes.
And that shit always drives me nuts.
It's the same thing that happened with Tuba and Bleach. He wanted to end it as it. Like, that was his big thing. And,
supposedly, and I do the quotations from some of the stuff I've read, he had the thought process to go into having further into the Quincy's and exploring some of the other stuff, which could have been exponentially shorter. One of the other bigger issues, especially when it got to the 1,000-Year Blood War, because the Substitute Soul Reaper arc, I don't care what anyone says, is a baller arc in the manga.
I agree.
And that whole thing. And the problem with 1,000-Year Blood War is the fact that too much of it got rushed, but apparently from what my understanding was from some of the things I've read and seen around, and this always comes with the caveat that I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I will be wrong in the future because I'm human. That he was being rushed because he had another product he wanted to work on, and I guess start to iron out. And pretty much he got told by his studio or producers, I shouldn't say studio, but like producers and whatnot, that's like, hey, you have to finish this or we're not greenlighting that.
Oh, well, that's always great.
It's the reason why it goes back to an old, again, Dragon Ball Z joke of, for so much of what happens in Thousand Year Blood War for the manga, you just keep seeing a lot of, this isn't even my final form.
Yeah.
And the one that definitely annoyed me was the whole, what was it, Nano? Freaking, oh god, I can't remember the dude's name. That takes over it. Oh, his lieutenant, because he takes over as the actual freaking Goten 13 court commander. And what, dude, of how her freaking Zanpakuto, which is a family, one that goes down the family, is freaking, like a god killer or some shit. But the problem is that, if she wields it, it's it's like typically, I think it's supposed to be either the man she falls in love with or a male that's very close to her in her life is destined to die.
Oh.
I'd have to go through and reread it again. And I'll still say, for how the series ends, I don't know why everyone kept trying to say that Ichigo should have ended up with Rukia. That one does not make sense.
You should have.
I disagree. There was more plot development for that whole thing of Ichigo in Orihime than Ichigo in Rukia.
She lived in his closet for almost a year. You're telling me that there was no accidentals, and she's far older than he is. So, yeah.
Again, we're also having to understand that their culture is not American culture.
You're right. My bad. And
who lives in somebody else's closet?
It was
the simple fact of the divider is significant.
Yeah.
In a culture that has wood framed paper walls and everything, any divider is significant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was just being an ass.
And she was staying there because pretty much, since she was a Soul Reaper, she was trying to guide Ichigo to be a good Soul Reaper. She was filling in the mentor position until later on. Which, granted, I still would have loved to have seen a little bit more backstory on Yoruichi.
Sure.
Just for the whole fact of, like, how she goes toe-to-toe with fucking other captains in their Bankai without a Zanpakuto whatsoever. Like, they never actually bring up what her legitimate Zanpakuto is. But we're off track like we usually are, because, again, we brought up the plot holes. I mean, there's the little comical moments of the inventions.
The bathroom buddy.
Yep.
Oh no, I really loved it when they were doing the Carls and he got the old bitch.
Oh yeah,
that was hilarious.
I will still say, when I first watched this movie, I was not expecting it to go so dark with Kate's backstory.
Yeah,
that shit was like, holy fuck. Although I did love the little quip in the earlier part when you first see Feldman in the Christmas tree costume, to where the sheriff shows up and he's like, come on, you can spare one for the boys down at the station. And you hear the doctor's like, I paid for mine, sheriff. Like, I was just like, Oh my god, I love the fact that everyone's giving this share crap of being like, no, dude, fucking pay for it, you stingy bitch.
Yes.
I'm like, that's how you're supposed to rag on cops like that. Oh.
I absolutely love Pete. Pete was my favorite character. This was the movie where I had my first crush on Corey Feldman.
Oh Lord.
Um,
What was the only black guy in town was the scientist? And I forget the actor's name. Man, let me see.
this movie, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenn Turman.
What was his name?
Glenn Turman is the actor's name.
Oh.
Yes.
The character's name is Roy Hansen.
That was it, Roy.
Yes.
Yes.
I just love hey buddy, just a little blood. And who
Yeah.
on the table like that?
Well, as I pointed out, the size of that syringe and the size of the Mogwai, that's like a sixth of his volume right there.
Yeah.
And just a little. You basically took off 1/6 of his body.
Shit,
In
he
blood
probably
volume.
needed to eat.
Yeah, at that point, after losing that much blood,
Needed to eat, drink, epinephrine. Oh, yeah.
Probably sleep it off.
Needs EpiPen, bunch of cookies, adrenaline.
You know,
And all
electric shock.
Then all the other references in this movie as well. And oh yeah, I don't know if you guys saw it, but when they first start and they're all singing the hi ho from the Seven Dwarves, if you pay attention when they're showing the seven, it's like Snow White and the Seven Dwarves on screen, and it's all of them. There's one gremlin that you can tell has distinct Mickey Mouse shape.
well, yeah, they show the gremlin wearing the Mickey Mouse ears.
Just dissected already. Pretty much.
Dissect what?
The random American ship is like, just dissected already. It's like, if you're going to go into that, you might as well. And I want to say that that Mogwai was like the only one that, in all kind of reality, didn't start out being a complete dick.
Yeah, no.
So that makes you wonder if it's like generation good, generation bad, generation good thing.
Yeah.
Everything that Mogwai did was kind of earned.
I like how the mom.
The only one I would say is probably didn't earn it against is Billy.
Well, yeah, but
against the one dude, he definitely probably went a little bit beyond what he should have done, but obviously that's because what's up, Johnny? I am Team Human #1. Which is why I also said it right before the pool scene. It's like, that's the reason why you carry a gun. And you also make sure you train with it. Because then, you know, freaking Stripe would have been like bouncing, been like, ha, ha, ha. I'm going to do this. And I just be like, pop, pop, pop.
Jeez.
So, and failing that, it jumps into
an
the
awfully
pool.
short movie, though.
Drop a wire in there. Electrify that sucker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
And it might not be successful, but it certainly can't hurt to try.
Oh,
Don't shock him isn't one of the rules.
Yeah. There's nothing that says they can handle that much electric current.
I didn't mean to cough.
I didn't even hear it. But yeah, it's just... Yeah. I still don't care what it says. It's a fun movie. It's just...
Or just don't have multiples.
Yeah.
But most of the multiplication was accidental until you got to the swimming pool, and that was despite their efforts.
Yeah, that was Stripe doing it, but otherwise, before that, the only implied multiplication of it was after the first initial accident happened, which is why he used that minor drop.
Yeah, single drop.
That raises an interesting question. So if you were to drop them, say, in the ocean,
would they multiply or wouldn't they?
Yeah, like would they multiply infinite? Like, and do they need to breathe? Like shit like that. Because if Stripe was down there under that water for so long, like how did he?
Again, it falls in that whole thing of like plot holes and whatnot.
I was gonna say those are the plot holes we were talking about.
And the suspension of disbelief, because that's like I brought up the whole thing of technically they would have to be warm-blooded enough to survive in the snow since it's freezing temperatures, which means they should have melted the snow and constantly been multiplying.
Yeah, and it's even if you say, okay, it has to be water in its liquid form. If they're warm-blooded, they're melting it. They're getting water in its liquid form. If they're cold-blooded, they're freezing to death.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing.
And then
like they have to be in a dry area because moisture is everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're drinking the beer. It's like, the water content in beer?
Yeah.
Pretty darn high.
Them drinking
using the foam.
Some of the foods as well. And I do like how the whole thing is like it depends on which light, because apparently the light of a match can throw them off, but a lot of the other lights.
The light of the movie projector.
Yeah.
Yeah. The light of the sun really just nukes them.
It's like, have you ever walked in front of a movie projector while
that shit's fucking bright.
It hurts.
Yeah.
It's bright. It's hot. It's.
Mm-mm.
You were saying?
Of course, if you dropped one in the ocean during the daytime, you'd be like, okay, does it fry faster or multiply faster? I think this one suggests they fry faster.
Yeah.
Now, if they'd been one on the Titanic, it would have been death to humanity.
No, it would have just meant there are corpses of mogwais at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
But that would be an interesting movie for a Gremlin series. They're on a cruise ship surrounded by water, and there are places where, if it rains, somebody's getting fucking wet.
I mean, I do love the fact that the Gremlins
escape and get down to the bilges.
Let's say where Gremlins were a legitimate thing for World War II propaganda.
That's where they got their origin.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not where they got their entire origin. That's where they got more of their origin of what modern we know today. Before this.
Yeah. Biggest refinements to them.
Where they fuck with technology. Man, it is coming down hard outside.
I don't want to look. I don't want to know.
I was talking about the rain.
I know. I don't want to look. I don't want to know.
You should use it snow.
Yeah, this time of year probably would be snow. See,
it's 53 degrees in my area. So thank God for small favors.
If you get snow, you have to post pictures, or when you get snow, I should say.
Ooh,
Please
really?
post pictures. I miss snow so much.
It's that's 38 out right now, and light rain.
Yeah, we had snow for like all of 24 hours so far.
Angela, you can always move to a place where they get snow.
And I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell James. I don't move to Texas because it gets cold enough to snow. It gets cold enough to snow. I can't even walk.
I will say this: if you're gonna
That's
live
why I
somewhere,
miss snow.
as I say, if you're gonna live somewhere to where it will snow, uh, make sure you're in an area to where the power grid can handle it.
Yeah, Texas cannot.
Apparently not.
I mean, depending on where you live in freaking California, their power grid can't handle it for having like the rolling brownouts and shit.
Well, that's middle of summer, middle of winter, middle of middle.
well, California has 2 seasons: wildfires and mudslides.
Pretty much.
They only get 2. Shit. Where Kentucky is, they get what? Tornadoes and what? Hurricanes? No, not hurricanes.
I don't think you get too much for hurricanes, but around Nashville, I mean, I guess you get the residual if it hits inland and goes straight. But by that point, you're just dealing with high winds and heavy rain.
Yeah.
You have the storm surge, and the storm is dissipated quite a bit by being off the ocean for a little while. And around here, we get tornadoes, high winds, thunderstorms, thunder snow, which everybody talks about being so rare, and in the last 20 years I've experienced it like 30 or 40 times. It's so rare. 3 times last week. What are you talking about? Yeah, Rotn, next time we hit the lake effect, you can send Angela some pictures of like 4 and 5 foot drifts in the front yard.
Oh, if I were going to do something with the lake effect, I'd have to go out to about where one of the beaches are and actually take some video of that. I know of it's been done by people in that who have typically considered high-powered long-range rifles that live near Lake Michigan, that when the winter gets and it starts to freezing, they will use said rifles to shoot at the ice on the lake that's drifting.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, some people
target's a target.
Yeah. I mean, you're not really worried about it making it to
it's not going to hit Chicago.
And if it does, it's not like it's going to be any different than normal.
Well, I mean, if it gets to Chicago, who's gonna tell? Who's gonna know?
I mean, I'll still openly admit I still like all 4 of the seasons, because like winter is absolutely the best for hunting.
Well, yeah, I don't like the winter.
There's a reason why fall and winter was trapping season. In the spring, you'd bring your pelts and everything to trade. Yeah, John, I don't like the negative 40 degree weather, but yeah, no, I hear you there. I remember it was.
I might have to look in this movie. Apparently, there's another movie called Gremlin where it says Adam receives a mysterious box from a relative containing a creature that will kill everyone he cares about. The only way to be rid of the curse is to give the box to someone he loves. Does he save his family or unleash a monster onto humanity? And from the looks of this one, it's not like majority of Gremlins to where, they will die in the sunlight.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I've seen that one or not. I've seen lots of things that have the
it's a
the choice of you have to do something bad or do something, wish something bad on someone else.
Yeah.
That's just any monkey's paw story.
Well, that's not necessarily the monkey's paw. Monkey's paw is just, your wish goes wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more the devil's box.
It's more of the
Those,
was it the devil's box or was it just the box where you if you press the button, someone somewhere will die, but you get like $80 billion or something to that.
yeah, the
Oh,
Twilight Zone did an episode on it. Yeah, I was like, if you press the button, you get $1 million, but someone you don't know somewhere else will
Dies.
die. And then when picks up the box, hey, you press the button. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna now it's time to give it to the next person. You're gonna get somebody else? Yeah. Someone you don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like I said, it was originally Stripe and Gizmo were the same character. This changed when executive producer Steven Spielberg insisted one of the Gremlins be a good guy with whom the audience could identify. Director Joe Dante expressed this decision was the reason the film is fondly remembered. Oh, and because Roger, what was it? Ebert and so it was Roger Ebert.
Gene Siskel.
Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah, Siskel and Ebert. Of their downplay, or it's like if they're basically talking shit about this movie and the whole thing is the reason why in the second movie, Gremlins attack and kill a reviewer. That's why I said I loved for the second one how they bring such the campiness into it because like all the shit people bitched about, they quite blatantly made fun of.
People been doing that for years.
They really
if you've
did.
got a product you like, stick by your product and really.
The Phoebe Cates story. Oh my god! In Gremlins 2, I was just like, "Fuck off."
I'm trying to remember her story for 2.
Some stupid Abraham Lincoln's birthday bullshit.
I haven't seen 2 in
like,
so long.
Yeah, it's been a good long while since I've actually sat and watched 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, it basically made it sound like she got diddled by somebody dressed as Abe Lincoln.
Well, basically, it's supposed to be that like her life is sad.
No, people bitched that she was turning around, whining about her. Okay. Whining about how horrible Christmas was and then throws out the sob story about her dad in the middle of all of this fighting killer monsters.
She had to come up with a nice story about how stupid her dad was and getting killed in a dumb way.
They had to bring up
I understand.
They went with the reason of her saying that she didn't like Christmas. Or it's like of why she didn't celebrate Christmas, and then said that basically she now has another reason to not like Christmas.
Yeah,
right?
You're talking to the wrong person because I think it was perfect for the exposition that they needed. But a lot of people complained about it.
You could have done like you didn't have to kill the father. All you could have said was like he left us on Christmas. Like we found the note like saying he just left us.
But here she wasn't black.
That isn't what the complaint was. The complaint was why are we turning around and having this exposition moment in the middle of the storytelling?
Well, I mean, honestly, they
turned around and did the same thing in the second movie.
Yeah.
Only they made the story ridiculous to, like, just to turn around and say, "Quit your bitching."
Yeah, it's like if you got a product you like and you stand by, and people start complaining, just throw it right back at them.
Yeah.
I will still say I kind of wish they wouldn't have cut the scene with the junior executive. And the whole thing because in the movie he actually locks himself in the vault.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like so that was the reason why they went into the bank and that whole thing was to one seek refuge and they run into him there. Who played
Judge Reinhold?
Yep, Reinhold.
Yep.
And he's just like, yeah, basically I'm gonna save myself, so I'm gonna stay in here. Also, if you didn't know that they originally were trying to have monkeys play the Gremlins, and the monkeys did not work.
No duh.
Yeah, because
I'm glad they didn't.
Because the monkeys tried to panic when they tried to put the gremlin head on them.
Well, they thought it would. I can see why they would think that it would work because the Daggett in the original Battlestar Galactica was actually a chimp. In a costume. So I could see where they would think it would work. But the animal has to be extremely well trained and extremely comfortable. You're talking like multiple animals that are already going to be in competition with each other.
Mm-hmm. But going back to the one thing with the Santa speech, it goes with this one. Says the Santa speech proved to be controversial, and studio executives insisted upon its removal because they felt it was too ambiguous as to whether it was supposed to be funny or sad. The director, however, stubbornly refused to take the scene out, saying it represented this movie as a whole, which had a combination of horrific and comedic event elements. Executive producer Spielberg did not like the scene, but despite his creative control, he viewed the movie as Dante's project and allowed him to leave it in. So basically, it's supposed to be an analogy for the movie. Sort of.
Trying to do something nice and something terrible happens.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Apparently, the main actor for Billy recounted in an interview that since obviously there was no CGI back in 1984, so all the Gremlins were animatronics, each costing between $30,000 to $40,000.
Big money back then for.
When everyone left the lot for the day, security would have to have everyone pop open their trunk cars to make sure they weren't stolen.
It's so like
wow.
Remember the Critters? Have you ever seen Critters?
Yes.
Yeah, I have not. I don't believe I've actually watched that one.
Seriously?
Oh, it's a favorite.
Funniest Tremors, because it has like a shit ton of sequels.
Mm-hmm.
It is fairly funny, and the Critters are
ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Yes. I will say this. Apparently, this movie was supposed to be a hella darker than it was, because in the original script for it, the dog was supposed to die, and the Gremlins were supposed to kill the mother by decapitating her and then tossing it down the stairs.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, because the movie is still supposed to be more family oriented, but it's meant to be more towards a older audience to a point.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
I'm here. Yeah, Angela just cut off for a second.
No, you cut off for a second.
No, you cut off for a second.
Oh, I did?
We have no idea what you said. After, yeah.
Oh, I didn't say anything after that.
Okay.
It's the rain. It's
dogs dying in movies.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, with the Gizmo puppet, it broke down a lot. So, basically, to satisfy the crew of that's why there was the scene of Gizmo hanging on the dartboard and them throwing darts at him. Because that was on the list that the crew created, known as the horrible things to do to Gizmo list.
Oh.
God damn it, cat.
Oh, wow. I did not frickin' pay attention to that, but Mrs. Deagle, if you pay attention, all of her cats are named after currency. Kopeck, ruble, peso, drachma.
I mean, she is affluent and old. Of course, she's going to be greedy.
And what was the thing about
her husband was a swindler?
Yeah, stock scam or something. Investment. What was that thing in the?
He got famous on those internets. All right, Kat. That's enough of that.
Actually, super fun. I don't know if you guys ever watched Alice, but Mrs. Deagle was Flo.
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. I
Again,
really just dated myself. Ouch.
Oh, huh. So yeah, the whole thing for the always midnight somewhere is definitely a thing. But apparently, one of the main reasons for the no bright lights rule, that was in 1984. They could not completely navigate the perilous waters of special effects for the Gremlin puppets that well, or very good. So by keeping in the dark, that camouflaged the problem.
Hey,
It's like that actually makes sense. Maybe that's the reason why Disney's been making their more modern movies darker in complexion, by the people like darker overall in lighting, so they can just cover up how bad they look.
Wow.
if we cut the lighting, we don't have to pay the makeup artists.
if we cut the lighting, we don't have to show you that we're actually puppeteering them directly. I mean,
It's the strings.
yeah, that's the strings. I actually liked. So in the beginning of the movie, well, not the beginning, like fairly into the movie, you see him like trying to be a race car driver, and I like how it came up in the end.
Mhm.
Like it, it's no Dukes of Hazard, learning to drive from Dukes of Hazard, but still, he got his little Mario Andretti on.
Oh, and I didn't realize this one in the beginning of the movie as well. There's a car with its hood up with the smoke coming out of it. You know what kind of car that is? It's an
A
AM.
gremlin?
It's an AMC Gremlin.
Ah.
I still think it's funny with the whole with Murray, how he's like, we should have got a Zenith. I'm like, I've had one of those. But apparently
Yeah.
that was a dig
Gremlin.
that was a dig at the time that Zenith was one of the few electronics brands still manufactured in the U.S.
In the United States, I love Mr. Futterman.
Shit, Dick Miller is a amazing actor, and every time I see him, he just brings a smile to my face.
Mr. Futterman was my absolute favorite in this movie. I cried so hard when he died. And then he was back in the second one, and it turned out he wasn't dead. And I was like, I'll take it, but that's
Retcon.
definitely pandering because him and his wife got dead.
Yeah, it was highly unlikely they survived. There weren't many who definitely survived. I mean, it's never implied that Pete dies. It's pretty would been pretty easy to see that Murray died. Murray and his wife died, considering
They're like a billion years old and got run over by a freaking plow.
by Kentucky
Hmm.
Hobster. It's Kentucky Hobster right there.
That's
None of that
true.
foreign junk.
But
Mhm.
that's true. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to call.
The only thing I will say that I did not like of what came from this movie is apparently Gizmo was the inspiration for Furby.
Yeah,
And I think the person who designed that should have been punched in the dick.
I
Furbies
will
are
second that
freaking weird.
Repeatedly.
with a wiffle ball bat.
I didn't find Gizmo scary, but Furbies creep me out.
Yeah. Man, I did not catch all the references in this movie because apparently when Gerald orders the martini, shake, don't stir is a shout out to James Bond,
Yeah.
but he did it wrong.
Which is hilarious because if you actually shake a martini, it shows that James Bond is actually not as high class as he looks. Because if you shake a martini, you actually bruise the vermouth. And
Yeah,
it
I
fucks
don't
up
I
the
don't claim
flavor
to
of
know any of that whole thing.
it fucks up the flavor of the drink. But
I think
also,
for a lot of that's supposed to be either a tell or a thing to one of his contacts.
well, actually what it is it turns out that it also diminishes the alcohol content
Hmm.
of the drink.
Well, that would be a reason to do it. If it's hard to drink under the table if you're not getting as much alcohol.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure it's by design. Like for the shaken, not stirred. For James Bond is he's trying to keep his wits about him, but appear, like he's enjoying the party. God damn it, Cat! What are you doing?
See, if only your cat was as good as my Wazowski, who's just done a perfect curled up Black Panther here because he likes lounging in the leg rest.
So you know the woman who played Billy's mother?
Yes.
You know she also played Lorraine's mother in Back to the Future.
Secret share connection confirmed.
I mean, they were filmed in the same back lot of the studio or the whatever studio it was for Warner Brothers.
Hey, can establish that they're all related.
Yeah, because it says the set for Kingston Falls, the same one used in Back to the Future. Both movies were filmed on the Universal Studios backlot.
It is an amazing thing that how you never know what films are filmed together, like that in fucking Back to the Future. Same backlot, same actress. It just fucking amazing. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
That never happens on this show. How dare you?
We stay on topic all the time. We're professionals.
What?
Yeah.
Like
We're
professionals,
experts.
I'm on the wrong stream.
If Tier thinks we're professionals, like he must have hit his head repeatedly today.
I'm full of good deep fried food and yeah.
Well, BG, normally there's a topic if it's a bad movie or it's that that one that was with Cage and David Caruso. I think it was Kiss of Death. Because that movie we were on that thing for like an hour and a half, damn near. I think it was, with rarely going out of the bounds.
When it's a bad movie, we tear it to shreds.
Sometimes when it's a bad movie, it's just like, yeah, this movie sucked. Like it was just unremarkable.
Or when it's a what the fuck movie, we tear it to shreds.
I mean, all of us had seen
Hereditary.
Yeah, like, oh god, Hereditary's fucked up movie.
Yeah,
that's one I don't think I'll revisit anytime soon.
Shit. Remember us in Wicker Man, the first one, the classic.
Oh, the first one is so good because the ending is so ambiguous, just like
and we spent like 2 hours, me, you, and James, just going at it.
Yeah. But it's like we've also all seen this movie. I think all of us haven't seen it in a while, and it's one of those things. It's Christmas time frame or whatever religion you follow. I don't give a shit. It's one of those things. If you've never seen this movie, I don't know how. Apparently this movie was the first time, or one of the first movies that Warner Brothers had used the Warner Brothers Shield logo. They had a different logo before this one.
Didn't they used to have the water tower?
Well, they still use the water tower.
Yeah, I don't know what their logo was necessarily before it. I will say what's pretty funny is apparently the main reason why the guy who plays Billy, Zach Galligan, got the role was just because of how well he was working with Phoebe. And apparently for a lot of the people, I guess when she was on a movie before that, a few years prior, they were like, we don't know if she can play a wholesome character.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Cast.
And basically Joe Dante and Spielberg were just like, fuck it, we're just going to go with it. They work good together, we're not fucking with it. I got nothing else on this one. Seriously, this one's kind of like Tremors. Go watch it. If you, I don't care if you've seen it before. Go watch it again and watch the second one while you're at it if you got time, because both of them are just really fun.
I'm gonna have to watch the second one on my time because now I want to see the female gremlin and the hyper intelligent one.
I did like the hyper intelligent one the most.
Yeah, yes, we just want to live. Love the hyper intelligent one. And again, Gizmo going Rambo with the damn paperclip and rubber band and the the burning white out.
And just the ridiculousness of like the supposed gene splicing by them drinking a potion and going into there. I liked how they had the Batman reference because of the bat.
The gargoyle.
Oh no, the bat gremlin that had been given the sun potion to see if he could stand there, but because of getting in wet
the
concrete,
cement, he became a
gargoyle.
Yeah.
There's the spider gremlin.
I just like how this office building it's a regular office building in like Manhattan, and they got this one department, and I like the concept that it's instead of being in a big city, it's in a small isolated building.
Yes, well, it made more sense for that and that whole orientation, because majority of the windows in a building like that wouldn't break easily because they're going to have resistant glass to the weather, to other things hitting them, like birds and whatnot. So it made more sense to put it in there because it's very similar to putting it in like an isolated small town.
Yeah. Again, I like the series. This is an amazing series. James really missed out on this one.
It's seriously, it's one of the few Christmas horror movies that's the comedy that I like, because I was saying with the whole thing thinking we could do the Krampus movie, which I still want to watch, mainly for the one part of like the two families that argue with each other. But also retards bounce themselves off the windows.
Wasn't there a case of a guy he used to show people a trick,
yep.
About the textile strength of the glass, and
then a grown man could fling themselves into it and it wouldn't break. And when it finally ended up causing his death, the window didn't break until it hit the ground. It was the stuff around that was supposed to hold the window that didn't hold.
The casing wasn't done properly.
Broke the frame, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now learn them.
Yeah, I kind of want to see the Krampus movie. The more recent one, where the two families are having the issues, and the one kid says because of something at Christmas he doesn't want to do that. So because of a thing that happened with his grandmother, he's got the whole thing going on for Krampus coming there. And apparently, since part of the family is like down the south, like they have a whole thing to where shit starts going bad, and he's like, go to your truck and get your gun. And the guy said like, how do you know I have a gun? He's like, yeah, you got a point. I'm going. Because he's supposed to be like the more redneck one, so he's just like, yep, I'm going to get it.
I love these stereotypes.
Otherwise, I still want to see the Goldberg Santa Sleighs.
I want to see Santa Sleighs too. Maybe we could do that one next week.
Well, next week's a Talking to the Void. Because it's Christmas Eve for most people, and I don't know what everyone has planned.
I ain't got shit planned.
I mean, it's a down day for the gym for me. Because my Christmas gift to myself is leg day.
I am not... Go ahead.
When I last checked.
I am not sure when I'll be home, because most likely we usually do Christmas lights on Christmas Day after we open presents and stuff, and I get back from my mom's. But
your family
this
here
year,
needs you.
this year church is doing their
I
Christmas Eve service during the day instead of at night, so we're gonna do it on Christmas Eve night
I even
instead.
said that there was a plausibility that for the Sunday, Christmas Eve talking to the void, that I could be doing it by myself because, if anything, I'm probably gonna have like lunch or dinner with my folks, and I'll have to make sure I pick stuff up because I don't know what else I'm gonna make.
I am a hermit, and I have very few friends and very few family that I want to hang out with. So yeah, I will be by myself for Christmas and Christmas Eve. So I will be here with you.
So if
I'm
anything, I might
pretty
just go ahead.
I'm pretty sure I should be back in time for this. I definitely would not be in for like a movie, but for talking into the void, I will
Yeah,
probably be back for.
yeah.
She's gonna pencil you in.
Well, no, because I just want to make it clear that there is the possibility that I'll be late.
We're gonna say that this is just gonna be a firm maybe.
Well, because we still have to.
It's a no worries. It's gonna be like starting typically closer to like when Tier starts his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my nephews still have to go to bed at a decent time so that everything can be ready for the morning.
Rotn. She's going to use a firmly sharpened number 2 pencil. She's gonna pencil you in. So just it'll be there. It's a number 2, so it's really dark. It's hard to erase. So
you
I figure she used pen, but use one of those friction pens.
Huh?
Wow.
What?
No, BG, I'm pretty sure he learned really, really well. He just didn't have any time to let that learning sink in and apply it to future life decisions.
What? A number 2 pencil is
no,
one
the
of the
window.
Darker...
We're talking about BG was talking about the window.
Oh, we're talking about the window guy. Yeah. Darwin Award.
And a different question, just because I still have some stuff up on Amazon. Have any of you used the their payment plan thing?
Yes.
No.
So like not their card, but where it's not their
sure.
card. It's to where it's like you still pay for it in full, but it's like you pay it for X amount.
But you're able
every
to
2
make
weeks.
payments.
But
they do still check your credit on that.
I have not tried that.
I've tried it. I like it. I bought I still haven't hooked it up, but I bought a second 11 terabyte. Or was it 16? Let me check really quick. I think it was a 16.
You bought a hard drive.
Yes.
Wait,
I was gonna say I don't think it really matters.
11 or 16 terabyte?
Yeah, I've got a 12 terabyte.
I haven't had that much hard disk space since before the house fire.
Shit.
And I still have 4 terabytes hooked up as well. Because 4 terabyte is used strictly for my video games. The 12 terabyte is all my collection of stuff of like my music, movies, TV shows, anime.
Well, I definitely gotta step up my game on that because I do need
16 terabyte.
I have to put more
I was just
storage into toaster oven.
I was just asking because like I've been eyeing stuff. I mean, granted, I've been in that weird freaking. No, the porn's actually like the smallest of them all. My anime collection though, because for how long I've had it, is like 1.5 tera.
You save porn?
Oh, his anime collection.
I mean, sometimes with porn, you might want to go. You don't want to always have to favorite everything. Because you don't necessarily need to, or always going to have the ability to have an internet connection.
Exactly.
Okay.
And lower guys. Don't judge us.
I think you're disturbing Angela.
No, it's just the idea of saving porn never really dawned on me.
Well, Angela, I may be the outlier. I have no porn saved on my hard drive, so
that's all on an external.
unless you count, I think I've got one hard drive with a few racy pictures of Mrs. Forge.
Aw.
But I was the photographer, so that.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
That's kind of one of those. That's the only way that a picture of me is like that is ever going to exist.
Yeah.
Is if my partner takes it themselves.
Shit. Yeah, I do have pictures of Melissa and Sam. I just have to get off my fat ass and find them.
No, I was
We just reminded here that he has
racy photos of his ex. No, I was just asking because there's a couple red dots that I was looking at, and they're both like just shy of either over 400 or just shy of 400.
Yeah, again, I've used it. It comes out every 2 weeks. There's a app for your phone you can get that you can even track it and whatnot. It's called a firm. Sorry.
No, I was just looking at it, considering that whole fact that I had that whole thing hit to where it's like I'm mainly looking at accessories for guns, and then out of nowhere it hits that I kind of want to buy a new gun.
Yeah,
even though I'm also currently paying one off to my father because I'm buying one from him, and instead of just paying him directly, we're doing it for goods and services.
Like, yeah, my next payment is due the 25th, and then the 8th and the 22nd. So it's every 2 weeks. Like
that's what it says. It says flat out how much it would be like every 2 weeks for 4 payments.
Yeah, it somehow goes. It coincides with my pay. So,
well, yeah. I mean,
again, I like it.
Like I said, I was just looking into it. And it's something I might try because my local gun shop hasn't had either of these.
Was I just looking at for a VR headset?
Shit, I'm not gonna get a PlayStation 5.
$50 a month for 5 months. Like, yeah, save a while anyway.
Guys, are we still streaming?
Yes,
we're still streaming. We've gone far afield now.
Oh yeah, because it's that seriously thing. There's just go watch the damn movie.
Yeah, there's not a lot. There's not a lot to take out. To take it down for. There's not a lot to knock it for. Suspension of disbelief is something you got to do in every movie, and it's quite manageable in this one. It's entertaining. The story stands up to the test of time. It's not dull by modern standards. The effects hold up. It's a quality piece.
It actually has a plot and story.
Movie. Period.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, in my opinion, you just can't go wrong with this movie.
Well, I mean, showing it to young children, you can go wrong. But other than that, no.
I mean, as long as they're not like pretty much 8 or younger, majority of the things in that they can. I would say, once they start in their teens, they could easily handle it.
I said young children. I didn't. I'm talking teens.
I guess I'm the outlier. As long as you watch it with your kid and talk to them about what's going on, I think it's fine. But I also saw Jaws when I was 2 and wanted to be a marine biologist because of it. And saw Friday the 13th before I was 5. So
pretty much it's the whole thing of you're going to have to be the judge of whether or not how young of a kid can watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
But majority of the
so
people that are going to be watching my streams anyways in that whole thing have probably already seen this movie, and it's like, you know what? Go give it a rewatch. And if it's not in your collection, go add it to your
It should
collection.
be.
It's
What's wrong with
fucking
you?
cheap. There's a potential, depending on where you live, whether it's, you could probably find this at like a Target or Walmart or Meijer, depending on where you live. I'm trying to think of some other ones, like a Hastings. I don't know if those exist
One of
really too much
those,
anymore.
say if you have a local disc reseller that has games or that has movies too, they might have it.
And a lot of times you can find this one in a double feature to where it comes with Gremlins 1 and Gremlins 2.
Not uncommon to be in the bargain bin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, if it's there, it's more of a bargain bin item. You're talking about, I saw like Alien and Poltergeist before age 10. So, I mean.
Uh-huh. Me too.
All right, so a story that my mother used to tell. So my mother I had My Buddy doll, and my mother, you know where this is going, don't you? And I saw Chucky.
Oh no!
And I didn't have My Buddy doll.
Well, when we were young, my brother saw it, and he has not warmed up to clowns since that I know of.
Clowns are awesome.
You know what's funny is American culture is like one of the few cultures that actually really doesn't like clowns.
That's true.
And I think it's just because a lot of them just make people uncomfortable.
I'm really big on it depends on the type of clown too.
Yes.
Because I'm really good with like the clowns that are they look like they're trying to be hobos.
Mm.
That style of clown I do really well with. But your standard like Bozo the clown, they're always mean.
So Angel likes tramps.
Well, that's again.
She likes the hobo clown. It's its own group.
It's that whole thing. It just depends on which clown it is and like what they're doing. If it's the ones that are mostly mocking kids in a lot of cases, like they do at some birthday parties and everything, or it's like a lot of clowns of them put out there do. It's understandable that there's going to be a lot of kids that don't like clowns because the clowns are actively being mean. And that even happens at like birthday parties and whatnot. But that's because at some of the birthday parties as well, there are kids there that are little shits. Let's not
take it out on everybody.
Yeah.
But how do you distinguish the little shits from everybody else?
Yep.
Ugh, man. I like moms. They're hilarious.
Oh God, did you see the video to where a dude almost made a mime break character?
Oh, mimes. Okay.
Yes.
So the mime is walking and makes it look like with what he's carrying, he throws into this pool. And a guy sees that and he's walking with his kid and he makes it look like he's throwing his kid in the pool but keeps holding on. And the fucking mime goes to reach out to stop it from happening. And like the guy pulls the kid back, so it obviously couldn't have it happen. And the mime just like has to like stop, lean up against the edge of the pool thing because it's like a SeaWorld thing or something, like take his own hat off and freaking blow. It's like fan himself and he's just like apparently doesn't say anything, but he's like, God damn it, you got me.
You're an ass. Mm-hmm.
But it's been 83 minutes. I think we're going to call it here. It's closer to over or almost an hour and a half. Again, go watch Gremlins. Watch the second movie. For like under $20, you can get both movies on probably Blu-ray, I think. At least on DVD. And if you don't have them in your collection, you really should. Any parting words about the movie?
Just watch it. Watch it.
Get off your ass and watch it.
Gizmo is not caca.
Yeah, Stripe did say that.
Those are my parting words for the movie.
I will say the fact of like how much they had there. I did like the ending to where it had the bye Billy.
No.
Yeah. Because he did that. He's like, to understand Mogwai, one must simply listen. He's like, to hear, one must listen. Then if you actually go through all of the credits, you hear the Gremlins laughing at the end of the movie.
Oh, he's like saying things like different TV channels and stuff.
If you pay attention, you can understand some of the other stuff he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like sitting there talking about HBO and different TV channels he wants to get when they get back home.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hilarious, but you have to be paying attention.
It saddens me that guy, that old Chinese man, nowadays he would never appear in that stereotypical getup.
Oh no.
He would never. They would never do that again, and it would lose. Like,
and the funny
if
part,
they remade
and
Gremlins,
the really funny part is he plausibly could, because I think it's like Kie Luke is from China.
No, but have him do that in a movie would
to have him be such a stereotype.
Yeah.
Yes. That movie would get canceled immediately.
Yep. But we're going to get out of here. Have a good week, everyone. Because since it's technically into Monday, 7 days until Christmas. I believe, is Hanukkah actually already over?
Yes.
No, it starts after Christmas.
No.
I thought...
Hanukkah?
Go ahead.
Thinking of Kwanzaa, sorry.
No. Let Angela go. Angela?
He is right. Hanukkah was the 7th through the 15th.
Okay, because I always thought from listening to 8 Crazy Nights, because they say the last night of Hanukkah, and I thought that they coincided with Christmas Eve because of that. So that's just blatantly wrong.
Hanukkah was during Christmas.
Oh, okay.
It's different time every year.
It's a Jewish calendar, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. So when that movie came out, that would have had the last night of Hanukkah coincided with the Christmas Eve. That makes more sense. I didn't know, which is why I asked.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
You live and learn in that whole thing. Unlike someone who jumps
Hanukkah,
into a window.
This year, there's a meme out that says my favorite Hanukkah tradition is Googling when Hanukkah starts.
That is great. For anyone who celebrates Hanukkah, besides just Angela, hope you had a wonderful Hanukkah. If you celebrate Kwanzaa, hopefully you got your yearly book of What is Kwanzaa. That's
from Kwanzaa Bot.
Yep, from Kwanzaa Bot.
Kwanzaa Bot?
Yeah, it's Futurama reference.
I will show you a picture of Kwanzaa.
Oh yeah, it's hysterical. If you celebrate some other pagan holiday, okay, be a heathen.
Saturnalia.
If you celebrate Christmas, hope you have a Merry Christmas, and Happy Honda Days. I personally celebrate Toyotathon. That was a big thing that always happened back when I was in with a couple of guys I worked with in the military. They'd be like, "How dare you wish me Happy Honda Days when you know I celebrate Toyotathon?" But we're gonna get out of here. Have a good one, everyone. For those of you who joined, thanks for actually joining. This I don't even know why we call this a review anymore. It should just been like, hey, we're gonna talk about this for maybe 5 minutes, then fuck all. Who knows where it's gonna go?
Depends on who's on the show with us.
It depends on how good or bad the movie question is.
I mean, with the Nick Cage movies, we're hitting in some of the most popular movies he's had, and that whole thing. And it's one of those things. depending on what it is. I mean, if we'd have had the argument with some of the other Christmas movies, like Die Hard, it wouldn't have been an argument, it's just been being told of how you're wrong. But it's been fun. It's been an hour and a half because I keep getting faltered. I'm not like Monkey to where I'm going to sing a song, but we're going to get out of here.
We're getting out
Bro,
of here.
I got ADD.
This is the ending.
Apparently, I got ADD because I will get sidetracked. Squirrel!
It's the ending.
Have a good one, folks. And hopefully your work week is short.